Hello and welcome to your news and features electronic magazine that centers on a different facets of motoring. Now in its 31st year, this is Motoring Today. I am Butch Gamboa.
As a coach, you don't define yourself in terms of championships you've won. What happens beyond the trophies? You have to move forward, grow, and get better. Life is all about taking shots, and I want these kids to at least have the courage to take that shot so they can grow, learn, be compassionate, and have the heart of a champion.
See the horizon as a starting point. Use each obstacle to gain momentum. Make the unknown routine. Continue where all others stop. New Peugeot SUV range. Never have SUVs gone so far.
When you sweat to be sweet and you clean car seat, it's love. When you try to look cool but you look like a fool, it's love. It's love. It's love.
Show your love with the new features of the all-new Innova. Love the journey.
As usual, we start off this week's edition with the latest news and developments in the country's transportation and traffic management. The Light Rail Transit Line 2, or LRT2, recently emerged as the first railway system in the country to receive accreditation from the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, for its competency-based program in train driving.
TESDA's formally handed over the Certificate of Technical Vocational Education and Training Program registration to the Light Rail Transit Authority Philippine Railway Training Center in a ceremony at the LRT2 depot. The said TESDA-accredited program offers 243 hours of Level 2 training covering the units of competencies to drive a train, such as communicating with Operations and Control Center, preparing light rail train operation, dealing with train faults, and responding to emergencies. The certificate granted is a pursuant to Republic Act No. 7796, directing the state to provide relevant, accessible, high-quality, and efficient technical education and skills development in support of the development of high-quality Filipino middle-level manpower responsive to and in accordance with Philippine development goals and priorities. According to the LRTA, this is just a part of the Philippine Railway Training Center's projects designed to advance the skills and competencies of the railway officers and personnel in the country through the provision of technical trainings and relevant development programs.
According to the LRTA, the Philippine Railway Training Center will soon be officially launched after the completion of its training facilities and the delivery of the required equipment. Continuing, the Land Transportation Office or LTO is discovering that electronic bikes or e-bikes are often used by unlicensed drivers. To avoid having unregistered e-bikes plying on the roads, the agency has announced its policies on the said vehicles.
The LTO has announced its policy on e-bikes and is now impounding unregistered light electric vehicles or LEVs. According to the agency, the local sales of such vehicles are increasing with attractive lower prices. The LTO announced that owners of LEVs can register their e-bikes at the following LTO branches: Diliman District Office, Quezon City District Office, Pasay District Office, Caloocan District Office. Moreover, in accordance to Administrative Order AO 2006-01, here are the steps to register as announced by the LTO.
Yun pong pagka-registration po kasi, when we say stock report, this is done by the manufacturer or importer. So, kailangan sila ay accredited na MERDU, ang sabi namin po doon. Either they're manufacturers, importers, dealers, yun po ang sila po. Sila pong gumagawa nito. Actually, ang facility po natin ay DIY. Pagka na stock report po yan, pwede na pong dalhin sa showroom doon sa dealer para ibenta. So, pagka na-ibenta po yan, may bumili, ang dealer po ay sasubmit ng sales report sa LTO kung saan nilalagay niya, kung saan napunta yung sasakyan na yon. So, the registration process starts when all of these are complete. Isasama na po natin dito yung insurance. So, pagka may insurance na doon na lang po ma-enter sa system ng LTO at ma-print yung CR or CR and OR. That's the basic po na procedure po natin sa registration.
After completing the requirements, owners must proceed to the transaction counters and submit all the required documents to the evaluator for evaluation and computation of fees. For the last step, owners must undergo actual inspection of motor vehicles with duly accomplished MVIR. The form can be downloaded from the LTO website and accomplished prior to the visit to the LTO.
LEVs such as e-bikes are said to lessen the use of gasoline as these vehicles use batteries to operate, which is likewise a big help for the environment. With these released policies by the LTO, the agency says that it is to ensure that the drivers are licensed and the vehicles are registered. Meanwhile, the Department of Transportation or DOTR through the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB has ordered the full compliance of all public utility vehicle operators and drivers in granting a 20% fare discount to PWDs or persons with disabilities.
The Memorandum Circular 2018-004 or the Order on PW Fare Discount was issued pursuant to Republic Act No. 10754 or an act expanding the benefits and privileges of persons with disability. The Memorandum Circular states that PWDs can avail of the discounted fares provided they present documents such as an identification card issued by the National Council for the Welfare of Disabled Persons or duly authorized LGU officials. Moreover, PWDs can also avail of the full 20% fare discount from transportation network vehicle services, such as Grab and Uber and taxi service, regardless of the number of his or her companions. According to the DOTR, violators shall be given a fine of 5,000 pesos for the first offense, 10,000 pesos for the second offense, plus a 6-month suspension of their certificate of public convenience. For the third and final offense, operators would have their franchises canceled or revoked.
The DOTR stated that this initiative is to help the PWDs have a better commuting experience. The department adds that they are expecting all the PUV operators and drivers to comply. And finally, following the consultative meeting held at the LTO main office last January regarding the shades of tint that could be used in vehicles. Let's have an update from the agency.
The LTO stated that they are prioritizing the options that better ensure the safety and security of the drivers and passengers that they came up with during the discussion.
Concerned din tayo sa safety dahil baka kung masyadong madilim naman, baka yung driver na obscure yung kanyang view of the road. Kaya we are consulting the manufacturers, concerned groups, to make the recommendation so that we can sort of evaluate this and come up with yung adaptable, yung kumbaga sabi ko nga yung nagpro-provide ng safety and security.
According to the LTO, the agency has requested the tin suppliers and truck and passenger vehicle manufacturers to submit their final position regarding the matter.
We requested them towards the end of January so that we can consolidate this, come up with a draft, then request the OTR to issue the corresponding order.
The LTO says that whatever option they decide on regarding the car tints, they will prioritize the safety and security of the drivers and passengers without compromising road safety. Those are the transportation and traffic management updates for this week. Motoring Today now takes a short break.
For those who command respect. For those unrivaled in their field. For those who see the world differently. For you. The bigger, better, faster, stronger, all-new Fortuner. Own your world.
Rediscover an extraordinary world as it unfolds before your eyes with the all-new 7-seater diesel CR-V. See the extraordinary.
Welcome back. In line with Motoring Today's lifelong commitment to promote road safety, here are this week's road safety tips in cooperation with Toyota Motor Philippines.
Hi everyone and welcome to Motoring Today's Young Street Smarts Club. This is brought to you through the courtesy of Toyota Motor Philippines and the Toyota Foundation. My name is Susie of Magic 89.9. Muling nagbibigay sa inyo ng simpleng tips on how to use our roads properly and safely. Katulad ng pinapakita sa animation, broken white center lines separate the movement of traffic on multi-lane roads. Ang ibig sabihin nito ay bawal kang dumaan sa gitna o sa mismong linya. But if you're crossing it to overtake or to change lanes, then just keep in mind na ang mga sasakyan na nasa kabilang lane ay may right of way. So, wait for your turn. Until next time, here on Motoring Today's Young Street Smarts portion, where you can learn how to be safe while on the road as a pedestrian, commuter, biker, or driver. This is Susie of Magic 89.9 reminding you to always be a safe and responsible road user.
Continuing with this week's edition of Motoring Today, Mitsubishi Motors Philippines for so many years has been encouraging proper driver demeanor at all times via these weekly reminders for the Pinoy driver.
Payong tsuper lang kaibigan. Ako si Renato Sibalios, isa pong kapwa ninyo tsuper. Iwasan po natin ang pagpapatugtog ng sobrang lakas na musika sa ating mga sasakyan, lalo na po habang ito'y tumatakbo sa daan.
Dapat nating malaman na ang pagpapatugtog ng loud music sa loob ng sasakyan, pampasahero man ito o pribado, ay di lamang nakakapwerhisyo. Ito rin ay delikado. Kapag tayo ay nagpapatugtog ng malakas, ito ay nagdudulot ng ingay at nakakaabala rin sa ibang tao. Ang atensyon natin ay nababaling sa musika at hindi sa pagmamaneho natin. At kung tayo ay distracted, hindi tayo alerto sa mga nangyayari sa ating kapaligiran. Kapag ito ang nangyari, di lamang ikaw ang madidisgrasya, pati na rin ang ibang motorista.
Kaya palaging tatandaan, habang tayo ay nagmamaneho, kailangan palagi tayong alisto sa ating paligid. Ito po si Renato Ceballos, payong tsuper lang kaibigan, mula sa isang kapwa niyo tsuper.
Rediscover an extraordinary world as it unfolds before your eyes with the all-new 7-seater diesel CR-V. See the extraordinary.
Think you're tough? Do you dare to go off-road or off-key? Do you use your great power with great control? With the new Isuzu D-Max, you're tough enough to be unstoppable. And you're tough enough to be right back. Isuzu D-Max, tough enough for anything.
We now have the latest news and developments in the world of motorsports.
In Formula One news, Red Bull has unveiled the RB14, its Renault-powered 2018 Challenger, in a special edition black, blue, and white livery. The special edition RB14 is not expected to be one competing when the season opens on March 23 with the Australian Grand Prix or even the first or official pre-season tests of the year at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, Spain. However, the launch of the special edition is not merely a PR stunt. According to the official Red Bull website, it was preferable to finish the car early and deal with any snags now when the car is on a track a short drive from the factory rather than using up one of the 8 ultra-precious test days doing the same at the Circuit de Catalunya. The car was also given a shakedown with Daniel Ricciardo behind the wheel as part of the filming of the official launch of the RB14. Teams are allowed to run the car at a maximum of 100 kilometers using tires provided by Pirelli for the purpose. Earlier, the Haas F1 team became the first to publish images of its 2018 Challenger to VF18. With a primarily white on black livery with splashes of red, the VF18 looked much like its predecessor, but with a now mandated halo and without the now banned shark fin engine cover and the T-wings. Also unveiling its 2018 Challenger ahead of the pre-season test in Spain on February 26 is Williams. The Mercedes-powered FW41 was unveiled at a press event in London. Also with a white and black livery, the FW41 still has a fin on the engine cover that does not extend above the highest point of the air intake to still comply with new rules banning shark fins. Williams has signed up Sergei Sirotkin to team up with Lance Stroll as its drivers for the season, with Robert Kubica as reserve and development driver. Kubica is scheduled to take the track on at least 3 free practice 1 sessions this season. In World Rally Championship news, Thierry Neuville and Hyundai bounced back from their dismal performance in Monte Carlo to win Rally Sweden and take over the lead of both the Drivers' and Manufacturers' Championships. Neuville took the lead early in the 4-day event, held off hot pursuit from rivals on the snowy forests of Sweden and Norway, before breaking clear late on Saturday and eased his way to victory on Sunday. finishing 9.2 seconds ahead of Craig Breen of Citroën Total Abu Dhabi World Rally Team in second. Coming in third place in the only truly winter rally of the season was Andreas Mikkelsen, driving a Hyundai i20 WRT. Esa-Pekka Lappi was the highest finisher for Toyota Gazoo Racing, coming in fourth. Lappi had been Neuville's closest pursuer until he crashed his Toyota Yaris into a snowbank. He managed to gain 2 places up to fourth in the final few stages. Topping the power stage to add 5 bonus points to the 12 he earned for finishing fourth overall. First round winner Sebastian Ogier of the M Sport Ford World Rally Team lost a lot of time having to sweep heavy snow on the stages and finished a lowly 10th overall, but gained an extra 4 points during the power stage with the help of clever team strategy in the closing stages. With points from his victory and 4th place finish in the bonus stage, Neuville takes over the top of the driver's standing, 10 points ahead of Ogier in second, 41-31. Jari-Matti Latvala of Toyota remains third in the overall points with 23 after salvaging 7th in Sweden. Hyundai jumped from 1st to 4th in the manufacturer's standings with 54, just ahead of Toyota, which is in second with 54. Citroën remains in third with 46. Erstwhile leader M Sport dropped to 4th with 43. The 2018 WRC season continues on March 8 to 11 with Rally Guanajuato, Mexico. In MotoGP news, Dani Pedrosa of Repsol Honda topped the first ever 3-day MotoGP preseason testing at the Chang International Circuit with a lap time of 1 minute 29.781 thousandths of a second. Johan Zarco, last year's top rookie MotoGP rider of Monster Yamaha Tech 3, posted the second fastest lap time, 1 minute 29.867 thousandths of a second. Over the 3 days of testing in the track that will host the first ever Thailand MotoGP race later this year, reigning champion Marc Marquez of Repsol Honda was listed third on the combined timesheets with a time of 1 minute 29.969 thousandths of a second. Another Honda rider, Cal Crutchlow of LCR Honda, was 4th fastest with a lap time of 1 minute 0.64 thousandths of a second. Sneaking into the top 5 of the combined timesheets was Alex Rins of Suzuki X-Star with a lap time of 1 minute 0.178 thousandths of a second. Jorge Lorenzo was the fastest at the test in Sepang, found himself down in 16th out of 24 riders who did lap times in Chang. Lorenzo recorded his fastest lap, a 1 minute 30.729 thousandths of a second, on the new circuit on the second day of testing. After the 3-day test in Thailand, Marquez was reported to have said that he was ready for the start of the 2018 MotoGP season, which begins on March 18 with the Qatar Grand Prix at the Losail International Circuit.
Continuing with our commitment to further help promote local motorsports, on Race Weekend this week, we shall put on the spotlight one of the current exponents of motorsports in the country, not only with his outstanding record as a motorsports competitor, but because of his active role in directly promoting it. To give us more insights into the status of motorsports in the country, here's my previous interview with our guest this week, Mr. J.P. Tuazon. As Motoring Today, through this segment, Race Weekend, continues its efforts to promote local motorsports. We have our guest this afternoon who would talk more about motorsports and make you, our viewers, understand more about its status and how it's being developed further. And this guest, mine, this week, has racing in his genes. His father was a well-known racer, a multi-champion of that. And right now, he's so much involved in motorsports. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. J.P. Tuazon. J.P., nice to see you here.
How you doing, Tito?
So, you, like your dad, you're now deep into motorsports. But before you go into that, please let our viewers know more about you, your background. I know, aside from being one of the few ones that took formal knowledge or formal education in racing, you had other things to go through before you reach where you are now. Please tell him what they were.
So, my name is JP Tuazon, and we own and operate a company called the Tuazon Racing School. My background is in industrial engineering, and I graduated from De La Salle University. I raced cars with my father when I was young, and unfortunately he passed away quite early in my life. After my father passed away, I was about 20 years old. I was lucky enough to get support and sponsorship from some of my dad's friends, some corporate clients, and I was able to continue my career in motorsports. I did Formula Toyota for several years, went on to F3, and during that time I realized I wanted to be involved in the motorsports industry in the Philippines, how little it was at that time. So we got ourselves educated. We went to the US, and with what little money we had then, my wife and I, we invested in racing school classes with Skip Barber Racing, which at the time was the most prestigious racing school in the world. We studied there for several weeks. We were in the States for several months, and when we came back, we started the race school. This was in about 1999, year 2000. So we've been operating for 19 years now, and we've grown the school to the point where we do motorsports on weekends. We now run touring car programs. We do the Toyota Vios Cup. We work with BMW, Aston Martin, Ford, Peugeot, Mazda. And we've now also expanded ourselves to run the local franchise in the Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, and hopefully other ASEAN countries for the California Superbike School. So we've gone into two wheels as well. And on the top level of our motorsports activities, we are about to launch a program called Formula V1, which will be the next step for our grassroots racers.
Before we go deep into motorsports, I just want to touch on something that's kind of close to my heart, also to modern today, and that's road safety. I understand you have been and still are very involved in road safety, in teaching people to be responsible road users. Please, can you give our viewers?
Yeah. Earlier on, I was talking about our weekend activities, which is in motorsports. And what we do is from Monday to Fridays, we do a lot of road safety programs. So we work with corporate clients, insurance companies. And what we do is we educate people not how to drive, but how to drive safer. So the job of companies like A1 and the other driving schools, we let them do the basics. And where we come in is we try to give more advanced skills, which some of it are based on our motorsports background, how to become safer drivers. So we talk about things like scanning, looking far ahead, using the correct following distance. And in a year's time, we now train about 6,000 to 7,000 people. And our road safety programs have now extended across Southeast Asia. So we now have clients in Sri Lanka and Vietnam, where we actually go and do road safety programs. So it's gone really well.
Okay, there was one thing I failed to mention, which you also failed to mention, and this is for the millennials who probably didn't know about what was happening about 30 years ago. JP is the son of the great Arthur Tuason. He's a well-known racer during his time. He was a multi-awarded champion in
for rally.
For rallying and even in circuit racing, I guess. Okay, having done that obligation, I should talk about that. Let's go into motorsports. Take it one at a time. There's so many things to talk about when it comes to motorsports with JP Tuason. Let's talk about Vios Cup. Your name is synonymous to Vios Cup.
Wow, thank you. I'm very, very grateful to Toyota. It's always been our dream to be involved in a one-make series of this size. We have done one-make races before the Vios Cup. It was quite small because the initiative was mostly on our side and we had some corporate sponsors. But to work with Toyota on the Vios Cup was really our dream. So we're very happy on how it's grown so quickly. We've actually become one of the largest one-make race series in Southeast Asia. We have more cars in the Vios Cup in terms of Vios models than even Thailand, who is the country which we model ourselves from. It's been a fantastic ride. The Vios Cup for this year starts up again in April. So we will have a series this year. Hope to see you all at the track. And again, we are just super happy to be a part of it. It's been a great experience and hope everybody can come out and check out the races.
The Vios Cup is really worth mentioning here. It is really a feat by Toyota. I would say two-pronged. Aside from the fact that they are responsible for not really reviving, but further developing the interest for motorsports.
Yeah.
They also did a very good marketing turnaround for the Vios.
Yeah.
As many of you know, the Vios before was known to be a fleet car. It's used for taxi cab. As I was telling you earlier, I gave my daughter a Vios before,
Yeah.
and she wanted me to change it right away because she was telling me, Dad, I don't want to ride a taxi cab, you know. But then after the Vios Cup, the Vios is now looked up not only as a fleet car, but a sporty racing car.
Sure.
And Toyota, kudos to you, you did a turnaround for that particular model. And also, you revive or further develop motorsports.
Oh, I totally agree with you there. Just to add to that, in the early 2000s when we were racing, there was a program called the Toyota Corolla Cup. It's a great program. They had about 20 cars racing. And as we were going toward the middle 2000s, they introduced a program where we had Formula Toyota. You graduated to that. And then in the late 2000s, you had F3. This was sort of the pinnacle of Philippine motorsport in the year 2000s. It was fantastic because there were lots of people coming to the track. There was lots of enthusiasts. But in 2007, 2008, the financial crisis wiped that out. So in 2013, when Toyota came in with the idea of running the Vios Cup, we didn't know how big it was going to be. So fast forward 4 years, we've sold 73 cars. We're now one of the biggest one-make races in Asia. We have 9,000 people at the track when we do the races at Clark. When we do a street race, we get close to 30,000 people that come to the races. And last year, the 4 races were put on social media and we had 1.8 million views. So there's really a resurgence in motorsport. There's a lot of following in it. And I think Filipinos really there's a passion for cars. And what Toyota has done is definitely not only rekindled it, but has grown it to a point where we're now at the peak of what I would say grassroots racing has ever been.
Having said that, JP, would you endorse this idea of the other players in the industry that one brand motorsport event could really help boost their sales?
I think a one-make series, when you have a one-make race series, it basically becomes a testament to the quality build of your vehicle, right? I mean, if it can last 4 years of racing and at the level of intensity that the Vios Cup was at, and you've seen some of the cars, right, flying through the air, I think it really will help you boost sales, not only to show that the car is reliable, but also to change the image to make it more sporty. So in terms of helping out as a marketing activity, it's been proven here in the Philippines, and I think it's been proven in other parts of the world. So definitely it's something that all manufacturers should look into.
JP, earlier you were also mentioning something about another venture you're going into parallel to the others.
Sure.
that you're involved in. This is a different level, a higher level of motorsports.
Yeah, so one of the passion projects that we've always wanted to do was to revive Formula racing in the Philippines. So as I said earlier, I was lucky enough to do Formula Toyota and Asian Formula 3. And I think it's still a dream for a lot of the up-and-coming racers. Unfortunately, for the last 10 years, there's been nothing around. So I've been lucky enough to have a very supportive wife. And she saw my vision and said, okay, you better run with it before you become too old to do it. So she let me get involved in this project where we've partnered with a Japanese company called West Racing. And we're going to start this year in May, the Formula V1 series. So we're actually launching at the MIAS this April. And we start with 4 weekends of racing, 1 in Batangas and 3 in Clark. And what happens is it's a single-seater with the body of a prototype car. So it kind of looks like a Le Mans prototype. The engine is a Toyota 1NZ power plant, which is the same engine that comes out of the Toyota Vios. It has 110 horsepower, but it only weighs 500 kilos. So it's only half the weight of a Vios. And to put it into perspective, the lap time of this car around Clark would be similar to the lap time of a 458 Ferrari. So it's quick. The reason why we've brought this car in is not only to revive single-seater racing in the Philippines, but to have a ladder or a progression for the young grassroots drivers to hone their skill in a proper race car and to prepare them for international racing. Because at the Vios Cup, we've had several drivers graduate into international racing, but the jump has been so big that damaging vehicles at that level becomes very expensive. So we're very proud that we've had the Grimes brothers move from Vios Cup to F4 and hopefully F3 this year. Last year's champion, Daniel Miranda, has now made the jump to Asian Formula Renault. And we're super proud of Arthur De Jong, who is a Dutch national married to a Filipina based in the Philippines. And from zero racing 3 years ago, he's now going to do Le Mans. So the idea is there's a lot of interest for people to move up, go into international racing. So we've now put in the sort of that middle ground for them to get trained before they leave. And the series is sponsored by several great local companies. So GT Tire, which is a new tire, has come in to support the series, Clean Fuel, Motul. And what we've done by working with our partners locally is put together a prize for our champion. So the champion of our local race series will get to race in Japan at the Fuji Speedway at the end of the year. So the idea is to get people into the program, get them out into Japan, get them exposed to international racing, get them prepared to battle it out with the best.
So what do guys, these racers who have reached that kind of a level do in order to get into this program?
Well, what we're looking for are graduates from the local grassroots program. So we've got drivers graduating from the Vios Cup. You know, once they've gotten to a certain level in the Vios Cup, sporting, super sporting class, they would probably move up into something else, which is what has already happened with other drivers. We also have the guys from the Force. They have a nice big grid of drivers. And again, after you've done it for several years, you want to move on to something more competitive. We also have guys that are doing the GT races and the guys that are doing the go-karts for many years. So all of them are moving up into this program. And what we're trying to do is move the drivers up from the grassroots programs and pulling in drivers that have experience to battle it out all together in this series so that we can increase the level of driver skill and preparing these drivers to, again, leave.
So no newbie can be accepted?
No, this is really a program for experienced or experienced drivers or those that are graduating from the grassroots. So we've been able to get some really good drivers into the series. So to give you an idea, Tyson C is actually going to come and drive. Luis Gono is going to come and drive. We're finalizing Stefan Ramirez to come and drive. So experienced drivers like that, battling against new up-and-coming drivers like Shane Henderson, Yusi Hoika, and some other new local drivers. And again, the idea is to bring up the level of competition in the Philippines.
So what does it take? Do they have to buy a unit?
So there are some sponsors that have come and collaborated with some of the drivers to put together a team. There are some drivers that have just gone out and bought the car and participated in the series. So for 2018, we're looking at having about 15 cars on the grid. And to spice up the program, we're going to have 1 or 2 foreign drivers come in as well. So there should be maybe a Japanese driver and possibly a Sri Lankan driver.
So when is your first race? Might as well.
Yeah, definitely. So again, we're launching in April. So hope to see you guys at the car show. And our first race will be in Batangas, second week of May. So watch out for that.
Okay, JP, thanks a lot for your time. I know you're doing a lot of things, and most of them for the development of motorsports. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Race driver, safe driving advocate, racing instructor, and sportsman, Mr. JP Tuason, our guest this week on Race Weekend.
Think you're tough? Do you dare to go off-road or off-key? Do you use your great power with great control? With the new Isuzu D-Max, you're tough enough to be unstoppable. And you're tough enough to be right back. Isuzu D-Max, tough enough for anything.
Calling all automobile enthusiasts.
Autofocus.com.ph is exclusive to the automobile, where you'll find reviews on the latest brand new car models, together with their head-to-head comparisons. It has the detailed specs of car models available in the country and their latest SRPs and special promos, together with the latest auto industry news and developments like car launches and test drives. Autofocus.com.ph is all about automobiles. Click on.
See the horizon as a starting point. Use each obstacle to gain momentum. Make the unknown routine. Continue where all others stop. New Peugeot SUV range. Never have SUVs gone so far.
When you sweat to be sweet and you clean her seat, it's love. When you try to look cool but you look like a fool, it's love. It's love. It's love.
Show your love with the new features of the all-new Innova. Love the journey.
Welcome back to the longest-running electronic motoring magazine. On Motoring Today, vehicle maintenance is next. Clutch driving is a bad habit. You can avoid being one by knowing the importance of your vehicle's clutch and how to properly take care of it in this week's Auto Care Clinic, courtesy of Isuzu Philippines Corporation.
Ang clutch driver ay ang bad habit na laging pag-apak sa clutch kahit hindi pa kailangan i-disengage ang gear. Kadalasan itong nangyayari sa syudad na kung saan mayroong stop and go na traffic. Upang hindi maging clutch driver, kailangan lang kapain ang tinatawag na point of engagement ng iyong clutch, o kung baga, kailan kumahagat na ang gear. Kapag umaandar kayo at kailangan ng bumagal, hindi mo kailangan agad apakan ang clutch. Hintayin mo na lamang ang point na kung saan may nginig na ang makina o malapit na mamatay bago apakan ang clutch. Kapag magpapalit naman ng gear, siguraduhin na mabilis at makinis ang pag-apak at pagbitaw ng clutch upang hindi ito masunog. Huwag na huwag isabay ang pag-apak ng accelerator at clutch dahil aksaya ito sa diesel at clutch lining. Kapag mahusay ang iyong paggamit ng clutch, tatagal ng higit 100,000 kilometers ang iyong clutch bago kailangan ng i-overhaul. Para sa periodic maintenance naman, kailangan lang palitan ang clutch fluid bawat 20,000 kilometers kasabay ang pagpapalit na rin ng manual transmission oil. Kung sakaling medyo naiba ang travel at play ng iyong clutch pedal, ini-inspeksyon ito ng kasa bawat 5,000 kilometers at pwedeng ipa-adjust kung may diferensya.
Remember, your manual transmission will work smoothly and could take you to more places when you use your clutch properly. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the local auto industry.
Mitsubishi Motors Philippines Corporation further fortified its commitment in the country's automotive market with the opening of its new stamping shop in Santa Rosa, Laguna. According to Mitsubishi, the new stamping shop has the capacity to produce 35,000 units in 2 shifts per year, enabling the company to scale up local production of the Mitsubishi Mirage hatchback and Mirage G4 sedan, or Attrage as it is known in other markets. The opening of the new stamping shop coincides with the announcement that Mitsubishi Motors has raised the local content of the Mirage to 35% and will increase it further to fulfill a key requirement of the Comprehensive Automotive Resurgence Strategy Program.
We are in the Philippines over 50 years, and we step into the new decade to build the new passenger car Mirage. For us to continue to provide the quality product to the Philippines at the competitive price, we have to build the car in here. So we invested stamping plant, and last year we started assembly plant. So please look at the Mitsubishi car when you're thinking to purchasing any car. Thank you very much.
Isuzu Philippines recently turned over the brand new Isuzu Mu-X to the lucky winner of the annual Lazada's Online Revolution. According to Lazada, the Online Revolution sale has been the yearly campaign of Lazada, allowing their online shoppers to experience amazing deals and huge discounts from different leading brands. Lazada's partnered with Isuzu Philippines to give shoppers a chance to win a brand new Havana Brown Isuzu Mu-X LSA automatic transmission with Blue Power technology. The lucky winner who brought home the brand new Isuzu Mu-X is from Jaro, Iloilo City.
We're very happy with this type of partnership between Lazada and Isuzu because Lazada and Isuzu share similar brand equity. Both companies are innovative. Both companies provides durable and dependable product and high quality product. And lastly, both companies provide best value for money in terms of coming up with products. So we're very happy with the result because it generated a lot of exposure for Isuzu Mu-X, the product that we are currently selling in the Philippines. So thank you very much for Lazada for partnering with Isuzu.
AutoNation Group Inc., the official distributors of Mercedes-Benz in the Philippines, recently held the experiential event wherein they showcased the Mercedes-Benz OF917 mini bus by conducting a ride with the motoring media to Seda Hotel Nuvali in Laguna.
This bus is actually called the midi bus because it's between two categories. The large bus, which is about 12 feet long, and then we have the smaller bus, which is about 6 feet long. This bus fits in right smack in the middle of that, being 9 feet long. And with that size, it's actually not too big for the city, but not too small as well if you want to go to nearby towns and provinces. It's very comfortable, it's not too cramped or squeezed inside, and even the comfortable drive will give your passengers a very pleasant experience actually going to nearby towns.
The brand also gave members of the media a sneak peek of their commercial van, the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter.
Motoring Today now brings you our Car of the Week on Showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee. The arrival of the 2018 Mazda CX-5 in the market has caught the attention of many, mainly because it embodies the evolution of the company's Kodo, Soul of Motion design. Learn more about it in this week's Showcase. Watch this. The all-new Mazda CX-5 is powered by a 2.5L Skyactiv gas that produces 175 PS of power and 420 Nm of torque, which is paired with the Skyactiv Drive automatic transmission. This new model is also equipped with G-Vectoring Control, a system that's supposed to enhance chassis behavior, which is also part of the Skyactiv Dynamics. For its suspension, the 2018 CX-5 uses McPherson struts at the front with multi-link beam at the rear. Outside, the all-new CX-5 boasts Mazda's enhanced Kodo, Soul of Motion design, which is bannered to give the model a sportier and more dynamic look. Compared to its predecessor, it boasts of a more distinguished grille and matching fog light frames, plus new front and rear full LED lights, and redesigned alloy wheels. Climbing inside the CX-5, one will notice the standard leather seats immediately. The electronic dual-zone air conditioners are also one of the treats in this model. Moreover, the CX-5 is equipped with reclining rear seats. But the highlight of the CX-5's interior is Mazda's new infotainment system, the MZD Connect. It works with a smartphone for hands-free and voice-activated connectivity system to apps, maps, social media, entertainment, SMS, and email. The touch screen is positioned within the driver's line of sight, which is multi-function control buttons located on the floor console and can be operated by feel so the driver's attention won't be diverted from the road. For added convenience, the CX-5 is equipped with a few more systems that are under the SkyActiv Technologies, the iStop Idle Stop system. It automatically shuts off the engine when the car comes to a complete stop after braking. The CX-5 also now comes with adaptive LED headlamps with 12 split array which improves visibility at night. Adding to the treat is the blind spot monitoring system that is mounted in the rear bumper to detect vehicles approaching from behind and the adjacent lane. The CX-5 also comes with lane departure warning and lane keep assist. Meanwhile, for safety and security, the CX-5 comes with 6 airbags, an anti-lock braking system with electronic brake force distribution and brake assist. That was the 2018 Mazda CX-5, the newest model from Mazda that reflects the company's innovations. And that's our featured vehicle this week on Showcase, brought to you by Prudential Guarantee.
Drive worry-free with Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program with a free 24-hour nationwide roadside assistance included with your comprehensive auto insurance. Rest assured, we'll take care of you and your car wherever you are. Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program, 100% worry-free driving.
Rediscover an extraordinary world as it unfolds before your eyes with the all-new 7-seater diesel CR-V. See the extraordinary.
The power of Strada. It's your sport truck.
For those who command respect. For those unrivaled in their field. For those who see the world differently. For you. The bigger, better, faster, stronger, all-new Fortuner. Own your world.
Your weekly window to the world of business and guide to the good life can now be watched online. Just click on businessandleisure.ph and watch this week's show and other past episodes of Business and Leisure at your most convenient time of the day. Business and Leisure is now on the web. Watch it anytime.
Welcome back to Motoring Today, and right now we have our Motoring Forum brought to you by Suzuki Philippines. The government's jeepney modernization program is a confusing and controversial topic. Do transport groups support the program? Will it succeed? The latest news on the topic is the announcement of an agreement for the delivery of 3,000 modern jeepneys in 3 months.
For many years now, the government, through the Department of Transportation and its line agencies, the Land Transport Franchising and Regulatory Board and the Land Transportation Office, has been working to implement a program to modernize the land transportation sector. The aim is primarily to phase out old and dilapidated public utility vehicles, in particularly a provision of what is now known as the PUV modernization, is the ban on the use of vehicles 15 years and older for public transport. However, the program has been hampered by oppositions from various transport groups, particularly from the jeepney sector, which claims the modernization program will result in the loss of livelihood for thousands of its members. For many years, the government has been bending over backwards in the face of opposition of transport groups, which hold transport strikes or the so-called transport holidays and leave cities and towns paralyzed for lack of transportation. Deadline after deadline for compliance with the regulations meant to rid the streets of PUVs 15 years old or older were pushed back. Meanwhile, government began looking for ways to help transport groups and their members to replace their aging units with new ones. And lately, some transport groups have begun cooperating with authorities, paving the way for agreements among the DOTR, the LTFRB, and LTO. Government financial institutions and vehicle manufacturers that aim to finally see more and more modern, safe, environment-friendly public transport on the road. The DOTR has announced that 19 transportation groups have signed deals with vehicle manufacturers EcoJip Incorporated and MCCI Connection Transport Services Corporation that would facilitate the replacement of old units with brand new ones. Chief among these transport groups that are cooperating with the government's PUV modernization program are the Alliance of Transport Operators and Drivers Association of the Philippines and the Federation of Jeepney Operators and Drivers Association of the Philippines. The DOTR said that these deals will result in some 3,000 brand new jeepneys to serve as PUVs in the next 3 months. Transport authorities appear optimistic that this will be a start of the eventual modernization of the jeepney transport sector. Meanwhile, the LTO and the LTFRB are doing its share to help encourage the entry of more and more new and modern jeepney units on the road. The LTFRB said it was facilitating the process of establishing new routes in various local areas and the issuance of new jeepney transport franchises. This is part of reforms being undertaken by the agency as part of the new omnibus franchising guidelines that aims to implement new jeepney vehicle standards, rationalize routes, and assist in a proposed old vehicle replacement program. The LTO meanwhile reiterated that it is also fast-tracking the issuance of new license plates for the new vehicles, including the jeepneys coming into service as PUVs. This latest development in the jeepney modernization is seen as a direct result of the government's multifaceted program to rid the country of unsafe and hazardous public transport vehicles. Under this program, the Department of Trade and Industry is tasked to provide vehicle manufacturers with incentives to help refleeting initiatives of transport operators as part of the government's comprehensive automotive resurgence strategy program. Meanwhile, the Department of Finance is tasked to complement efforts to implement a financing program for public transport operators, including the jeepney sector, seeking to modernize their fleets. Amidst this welcome development in the government's program to modernize the jeepney transport sector, the Pinagkaisahang Samahang ng Mga Tsuper at Operators Nationwide or PISTON continues to oppose what they perceive to be a total phase-out of jeepneys, announcing more plans to hold transport strikes. However, other transport groups react to the PISTON call for the transport strike can be an indication of whether the government's PUV modernization program is finally gaining momentum in the jeepney sector.
We have seen and heard government and even transport groups reiterating support for the program aimed at modernizing the jeepney transport sector, only for hopes to be dashed by more rounds of protests from opposing groups. This latest news can either be met with optimism or pessimism. We are opting for optimism that the program will finally lead to better, cleaner, safer, and more efficient jeepney public transport. This week's topic on Motoring Today's Motoring Forum, courtesy of Suzuki Philippines. Up next is our segment that dwells on the wide array of motoring problems, not only within the metro, but all over the country, courtesy of Honda Cars Philippines.
Welcome to our public service segment here on Motoring Today. Last week, we highlighted a motoring concern from a pedestrian who was given a ticket for jaywalking. This week, we have insights from the Metro Manila Development Authority or MMDA regarding the said incident. Here is Mr. Bong Nebrija and this is what he has to say.
So, we have the standard apprehension procedure, right? I mean, the courteous approach and all that. And then we will be asking you for your identification because that will be the basis for citing you the ticket for jaywalking. So it means it will tell you your name, we identify you, that's really you, that you're giving out your true name, and then the address and all that, right? So once we issue the ticket, you have 7 days to pay it. Then you really need to pay it. Pay 500 or opt to join us in our clearing, in our Estero Blitz or Estero Cleanup as part of a community service. But we're reminding the pedestrians who are cited with jaywalking violations to settle this. It's either through the community service or the payment of 500 because if not, we will be submitting this to court, and to your surprise, when you get your NBI clearance, you cannot get your NBI clearance because you have a pending case.
The MMDA reminds not only the drivers, but also the general motoring public, including pedestrians and bikers, to always follow traffic rules to prevent oneself from being caught. The agency adds that if you think you're wrongly cited or something might be wrong in the process, do not hesitate to call their office and report their enforcers so the proper actions would be done.
Should you yourself encounter any motoring problems that need immediate attention, please feel free to contact us. See the details being flashed on the screen. And that's the week that was in motoring. Thank you for joining us. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Until next week here on Motoring Today, now in its 31st year of continuing service to the general motoring public with a lifelong commitment to promote road safety. I'm Butch Gaboa. Happy motoring.